Hi, my name is Paul Lender. I am a wet plate collodion photographer. Wet plate is a very early photographic process from the 1850s that took a liquid collodion, a viscous liquid, and combined it with silver salts and created a light sensitized plate that could be put into a camera and a photo could be made on it. Popular first was glass ambrotypes, negatives that you could make prints from. Then later, Tintypes became more popular, and I would say most people know Tintypes from the American Civil War. Very low cost, affordable way for people to get photos, a very durable way for photos to remain around. So you will find Tintypes that have been around 150 plus years. As I tell people about this process, questions usually come up. What is it? Which I'll do a walkthrough at the end of this video, exactly how we take the collodion and sensitize it and make the photograph, and why. So the why is just because I've become very interested in the maker's process, and there is really nothing more makers about photography probably than this process. I touch every part of it. I mix the chemistry, I pour the collodion on the plate, I decide how long it stays in the silver, I decide how long it's exposed in the camera, I decide how long it stays in developer. I decide how long it fixes. I decide how I protect it after the photo is made, and I want to make it archival or last forever, because those are all things I touch in this process. And then it gives a very tangible result. At the end of the day, you are left with a one-of-a-kind image on metal or glass, and even if I were to keep you in the same position, if it's taking a portrait, or if I'm taking a picture of a flower or a building, every collodion pour is slightly different. Every developer time is slightly different. So every image is unique and one-off. And again, it's tangible. At the end of that process, the 10 or 15 minutes it takes to go from start to finish, you get left with an image on a plate. And that's kind of cool, right? If you think about photography today, digital photography sort of exists in this ether of pixels and bits and bytes and electronics and SD cards, and you can take the photo, you can develop it, in Photoshop or Lightroom. You can then share it on social media like Instagram or Facebook, but odds are a lot of times that photo never gets printed. It only ever exists in the cloud, right? And even if you think about film, while it's tangible for sure, I'd say it's less tangible today in our process than it used to be. So you do load film into a camera, so you pick that part and you decide what kind of film you're going to use, and you take it, and then you develop it and you're left with a negative. And today, a lot of times that process ends not necessarily with a print, but with a negative that the photographer scans and then shares with the client, again through the cloud, through Facebook or Instagram or whatever that might be online. So there still might not be a tangible print, and I would say for the most part, you're never going to hand a client a roll of negatives and say, have a good day. With this process, I can hand somebody a photo after we're done and say, have a good day, and they have that image, and they have the only version of that image unless I take time to scan it. So really putting it into the cloud is like the last part of this process. So that's what I enjoy about it, and that's why I got interested in it a while ago, and then started doing it about 3.5 months ago. So we'll walk through the process on how we end up with an image on a plate.